Those in power that are corrupted don't want to release it. They don't want to release their control. Their fear of losing control is much greater than anything else. Their fear of losing control over people's mind, body, soul, spirit is much more greater. You know, a lot of people talk about Jezebel, and they call her all sorts of names and everything, biblically speaking. But it's kind of funny, people cannot recognize things when it comes to manipulation and control of mind, hearts, and souls, when people in industries and systems are literally bringing people away from God. That's what it means. It's called seducing with words, the seduction. Jezebel, the person herself back then, it wasn't about sex. It wasn't about no makeup. It wasn't about all these things. She was using her words to seduce people, to bring them away from God. That's what she did. That's what's going on now. That's why in Revelation it talks about like Jezebel. It's talking about the spirit of, meaning, and I'm going to say this because there's a lot of religious folks don't understand. And I'm going to go into details about this. The spirit of, I don't care if it's Ahab, Jezebel, Leviathan, anything, okay? Anything. It's not talking about the person itself because it's not their spirit, just like Jezebel. The spirit that was within her because of her idolatry, her dedication to her gods, okay? The spirit that was within her will cause her to do things that her herself would not be of naturally to do. So that's why it's called her spirit, because she had a murderous spirit and all these things. Jezebel herself, even back then, she was a woman of power. She knew who and what she was. So she exerted her authority. It wasn't about control about her. Ahab, on the other hand, it was about control. He manipulated things. If you go back and read text, every time something happened, Ahab would run back to Jezebel and tell her what had happened. Because why? Ahab did not know who he was. Go and look in text where it says, "Do you not know that you are king?" When he ran to her, talking about Naboth in his vineyard. He had no clue who he was, so he knew he can go and pout to Jezebel, and Jezebel would get it done. She would call her priest, and they were fast and do all these things and make false accounts towards people to cause people to kill these very people and take what it is. Jezebel herself did not take, she did not want she did it because her husband, who did not know who he was, asked her to. See, all this stuff that you see that's going on, a lot of people talk about Jezebel and Ahab, it's been recycled bull. That's what it is. Jezebel is just not the spirit that was in her. It's just not running around in regular people. It's a person of power. She was a person of power and influence. So was Ahab. But Ahab did not know who he was. Jezebel, the spirit of Jezebel literally goes around seducing people, not sexually, but seducing them with her words to bring them out of the presence of God into her bondage, into her religion, into her bull crap. I'm being nice. Into her systems of bondage. That's what it is. Into her belief systems. Into everything that it is concerning her and her father's kingdom and her ways. That's what she do. She captures the mind and souls of people to bring them from the hearts and minds of God to her. So that's why when God would send prophets to rise up against this system that was in place by Jezebel, because she knew who she was, she would kill the prophets of God or go after them. That's happening today. And I'm talking about true prophets of God. I'm not talking about fake people. They will use their power and influence to try to subdue in submission people who are truthfully speaking about things, about their systems and about the things that they're doing of corruption. So God will send his prophets and his people into the world to speak the words of him, to bring them out of captivity with Egypt into the promised land, back to him. Out of the hearts, minds, and souls from the enemy, because the enemy has literally captured them their mind, their body, their soul, their spirit, everything. So they're doing the things that these people in institutes are doing when God never told them to do that. They started doing it. They start listening to the words of these false gods and start doing the very things that they were doing, the sacrificing, the doing this, the doing that, the wearing the things and all this kind of stuff, where they no longer look like people of God. So God would send out his prophets to tell them to come out of that thing, to come out of that system, to come out of that, because that's not his spirit. That is a false spirit. And if you stay in it, you will die. It's not only with Jezebel, it's throughout the Bible. Just because you don't recognize a thing does not mean it's not real. Right before Jesus Christ came, you will see the increase of, even though prophets have been all the way through the Bible, not the ones, there are a lot of prophets that you don't even know that's not even named that's in the Bible. There's always been prophets and always will, okay, until he comes. Right before it was an increase of things because they were prophet also the coming of God. It's the same way in the end. It's the same. It's no different. So if you want to listen to people of this world because of all these things and the systems that they are even bringing into the church, let me tell you something. It ain't just now happening. This stuff been going on. I recognize this 20, 30 years ago. When I remember when people saying that evil can't walk in the church, the devil cannot walk in church. Yes, it can, because that's where I came in contact with people like that. Even though I came in contact with it before, I was hunted down. Because I recognized things that was in the church, and these people who are of God cannot recognize. That's why they need the fivefold ministry within the church to recognize things like that. So you can recognize a witch or even a warlock that walks into that church and cause destruction and chaos and mayhem. But they don't want to talk about that. So when you don't know who you are and you in a position like that, like I was 25, almost 30 years ago, I recognized these people, but I didn't know what it was because it was different. But they sure as heck recognized me. That's how I learned. They came after me. You got a lot of people right now who don't know. They know when there are people walking into the physical building, because they everywhere within those buildings, those four walls. All this stuff you seeing going on, I'm going to tell you right now, if they had true people of God in there, these people wouldn't even have a heck and a chance to get in. They wouldn't have been able to cause the havoc and doing, and these women, look, this ain't nothing new. I knew women back in the day that was specifically going out and sleeping with pastors. This ain't nothing new. I remember asking a woman, like, you know you're going to pay for that, right? You want to know what she told me? I don't care. Let me tell you something. A lot of people that God has been using out here in the world, they are not famous. They are not well known. You are not going to know them because behind the scenes, they are doing what God has called them to do, even to go into churches, whether you believe it or not, and call out things. Our world is not getting better. It's getting worse to where people feel like they can do and say anything. We cannot. We all pay. Even I do. You don't understand that. Just because I'm saying a thing does not mean anything. I will have to pay too. Do you not understand that? A lot of people don't understand that because they don't understand who God is. We all would have to pay what we have done, what we are doing, and you think that you're doing, and nobody knows. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, is anybody perfect? No, that's not what I'm saying. But when you are actively doing things and think it's okay, and you just constantly doing it over and over and over, that's willfully doing it. Do you not understand that? You are willfully participating in something that you know is wrong. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you are a pastor, prophet, evangelist. I don't care what you want to call yourself, teacher, preacher, whatever. Whatever name you give yourself. Because let me tell you something, true people of God have always ran. They never wanted that weight. They never wanted that calling. They never wanted that. Because why? They didn't want blood on their hands. They felt like they weren't good enough. But yet you see so many people rushing to try to go and get that so they can control the mind, hearts, and souls of the people. When will you wake up and realize that everybody is not who they say they are? Whether with God or not, and out there in the world too. Wake up.